welcome to Rambling Thoughts. I'm your host, Lost Boy, and I hope you're having a spooky Halloween. I'm actually recording this the night before Halloween. Once again, I'm continuing the trend of having recording issues with every single episode. I actually recorded a full episode on Tuesday. I planned to release it on the day of Halloween, but then the file just poofed. It disappeared, and I I was so confused and angry, and I will riot if this continues to happen. Maybe I just need better recording equipment. Actually, that's a given. So, nah. That amazing intro you just heard once again was made by my best friend. He is so cool for that. I have listened to that intro several times. At least 4 or 5 times on its own, because it is so catchy and amazing, and I love it. He's awesome. As always, the link to his channel will be in the description. Definitely give his music a listen if you would like to, because it'd be great. So, Halloween. This is a holiday I have always held near and dear to my heart, even since I was little. My mom has pictures of me and my older sister. Well, maybe I was 2 at the time. I was pretty much a baby. In the picture, my older sister has like a candy corn witch costume, and then I am in a Wonder Woman costume, and I have the biggest smile on my face. So even as a wee baby, I still loved Halloween, and I always have. I've had many costumes over the years, most of which were store-bought, but it wasn't until at least when I was 13 that I started constructing my own costumes, just because I love coming with ideas for stuff, and, I'm just a creative person all around, so I like doing things like this. The first costume I ever actually made by myself was when I was 8. It was my first attempt. It was kind of because I almost didn't go trick-or-treating one year. I think I was maybe 8 years, I think it was 8, 9, maybe? I don't know. But in the end, I decided I did want to go out. I was scared, because, I loved Halloween, but I didn't like seeing the scary costumes. I didn't like the scary, decorations or anything like that. I still kind of don't. I kind of avoid those things. I love scary stuff to some extent. But then when it comes to gore or just overly horrific things, I just back away from it. Anyway, my point is, I didn't have a costume ready because obviously my mom didn't get me one because I didn't want to go. But then all of a sudden I did want to go. So I scrapped together my own costume with some, polka dot sweater, I think, and a masquerade mask my Thea gave me. I did, no matter what, I still had fun that night, and I don't remember my Halloween years super, super clearly, sadly. I wish I did, but there's a gap in my memory, so I can't exactly tell you every single detail of every single Halloween, but I can tell you that I've always just enjoyed going out at night and seeing the different types of costumes and people just having fun. So after that, actually, I'm just now remembering this. I had made another attempt at making a costume, and I was trying to make a robot, like a Halloween robot, and I was maybe 7, maybe. And what I wanted to do, I tried getting boxes. I got a lot of boxes, and I was constructing my own robot costume. It's from, my perspective that I have now. If I could tell my younger self anything about that costume, I'd be like, I know you're trying your best, but this sucks. I'm sorry. I didn't go out on that Halloween with that costume. My mom did not let me. She was just like, no, you're not doing this. Which, to be fair, at the time, I was pretty upset about it, but thinking about it now, I'm glad she didn't let me go out in a costume like that, because it was pretty bad, even by my standards. Uh, I tried my best at least. After that, another costume I can remember that I did myself because I missed the Halloween of 2017 because on that Halloween we moved from Texas to North Carolina. Um, so I didn't do trick or treating that year, but that's the only year I've actually missed trick or treating. And the rest of the years so far, I've never missed it once. The following year, 2018, I dressed up as a quote unquote Spider Queen. I had this black dress that I don't remember where I got it from. I don't have it anymore. But I put on a black dress. I got spiderweb fishnets. I don't remember the shoes that I had. There were just these black flats, I think. And I got these the fingerless gloves that had spider webs on them. I got plastic spiders and put them on my dress. And my hair was cut short that year, so I had to buy a black wig, that was a lot longer. And I did this crown motif on my forehead that was that had a resemblance to a spider web but had red gems on it. I'm not entirely sure. I have pictures, but I don't know how to describe it. I won't lie, partially why I remember that costume and just that day in general was because my legs really hurt badly. At that time, we didn't know, and I didn't know that I was flat-footed, so I had no explanation for why my feet would hurt while I was walking or why my legs would be weak. So that Halloween, we were walking on the sidewalk, and I tried to run, but then I fell, and my legs felt wobbly and just weak for the rest of the time. I still stuck it out because I loved Halloween and I didn't want to miss out. But I won't, yeah, that's kind of why I remember that Halloween. The following year, I don't entirely remember what I was. This was okay, it was 2019, so what did I do for that Halloween? I know I went out trick-or-treating, but I can't remember what I was. What my costume was. I really wish I could. Maybe I can ask my mom, but oh well. Jumping back way a couple of years, because I forgot to mention this one, these two specific ones, one of which is hilarious. I was maybe 3 or 4, and actually no, I think this was when I was 4. I dressed up as Tinkerbell. I remember these big wire wings that I wore, and maybe I think someone pulled on them. What it made me mad. That's where that memory ends. But when I was probably 3, I dressed up as a red crayon because my mom could not get us Halloween costumes that year. It was a hand-me-down from someone. And yeah, I was just a red crayon. Thinking back on it now, it was hilarious. I didn't hate it when I was little. I was just having fun, so I was fine with it. I did get picked on a little bit, but in the end, I still loved it because it was a costume and I was a red crayon. What was not to love about it? Skipping forward a couple years again. After I think seriously, it's a huge gap in my memory from the years of the year of 2021, 2022, and 2020. I know we did trick or treating. It's really interesting. That year, I remember specifically, we when I went out for trick or treating, there were people who instead of having a candy bowl, they had candy in bags, in separate section off bags. And honestly, I think that's pretty cool. It just shows nothing can stop the Halloween spirit. We will still celebrate Halloween. We will still do trick-or-treating, we will still do all of that. We will just take extra precautions. But yeah, I have this gap in my memory for some of my Halloween years, and it's kind of sad, because I wish I could remember certain things. But anyway, I think it was 2022. Yeah, it was 2022. I had, in the year previous, Actually, no, yeah, this was 2021. Um, I think, wait, yeah, my brain's all over the place. Okay, so I think in 2021 is when I was basically a demon persona that I had created. I was, like, you could just say I was a demon. I still have the horns from that costume. Then, like, in the following year, 2022, due to an accident I was in, I was scared I wouldn't get to go trick or treating, but I still was able to, and it was fun. Um, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I still had fun. That was one of the years where I wasn't really with anyone for trick or treating. The year previous, I was able to go out with some friends, and it was the first time I ever did trick or treating with friends. I usually would have gone out with my mom and my family, and it was a lot of fun. Plans ended up falling through for 2022, like when it came to trick or treating with friends, and I was pretty sad about that. But then when I was out walking around, seeing all the costumes, seeing people having fun, and just everything around, like the true spirit of Halloween, as cheesy as it sounds, it made me remember why I loved Halloween so much. So I still had fun that night. The following year, 2023, is one of my favorite costumes. It's so dumb, but I think it's hilarious. Uh, like a little bit of backstory is that in 2023, in July, I had surgery on my knee. So for a while, I was on crutches and in a wheelchair, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to go like walking around on Halloween. We didn't know. So I had planned to incorporate my wheelchair into my costume. My plan was I was gonna be a red Yoshi, and I would deck out my wheelchair to look like a Mario Kart, and it would have looked amazing. Um, Thankfully, I was able to walk by the time Halloween came around. I was still in a knee brace, and I couldn't run, but I was still able to. But yeah, I was a red Yoshi. All I did was take a red hoodie and red sweatpants, sew up some stuff on the hoodie. I still have the hoodie hung up on my closet door. I wear it sometimes. But yeah, like, ugh. I also had a blue shell, like a blue shell plushie that I had gotten at Target, and I had painted this. I still have the box as well. I painted this box to look like a uh. Sorry about that. I'm getting tired. Uh, I painted the box to look like a mystery box. Not more so from like the newer generation Mario, like more like an older generation Mario Kart. But still a mystery box nonetheless. I loved how it turned out. Funny thing is that I was able to get all of that done the night before. I had not been able to get the supplies or my stuff together for my costume, but on October 30th, the night before Halloween, we had been able to run to Target, and I was able to pick up just like some of the things that I needed for my costume and was working on it. And like I worked on it late into the night because I wanted to wear it to school. Um, and I didn't entirely finish it, but I still got most of it done. So that day at school, I wore it to school. But I did something that to this day I still find to be one of the funniest things I've done in high school. I waited until everyone was in my second block, because at the time I was only doing half days at school. So I only had two classes really that I was going to. And whenever I knew most of the people were inside of the class, I started walking down the hall and blasting Super Circuit from my phone while carrying the blue shell. It was one of the funniest things I can remember from my 11th grade year. It was stupid, yeah, but I thought it was hilarious, and some of my friends in that class thought it was kind of funny too. One of the teacher I had in that classroom, if I asked him, he probably still remembers it, because there were other kids who also dressed up as costumes, like not dressed up as costumes, dressed up in their costume that they were gonna wear for that Halloween. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. This year, I am going to be a biblically accurate angel. If you've ever seen a biblically accurate angel, you know what they look like. If you haven't, right now, pause this. Like, I don't care. Pause this podcast right now and look up what a biblically accurate angel looks like and get back to me. Because they are so bizarre looking. I know technically, like, it's an angel, so why would it be Halloween, even though people dress up as angels for Halloween and stuff? I've seen those costumes. But no, here's the thing, like, it's unnerving. And the reason why they look that way is because according to, like how angels are described, we as humans physically cannot comprehend what they look like. They are above our understanding. So they can look so bizarre and weird and just, like, all over the place. So that's kind of what I wanted my costume to capture. I actually took, how I sewed together my costume, I just took an old shirt I had, sewed some fabric that I had onto it, like, arranged it around. I got a, beautiful headband, made by a friend. Like, they did a great job, I love it. And the finishing touch that I will have on this costume is that with maybe eyeliner, or I don't know, or some sort of body paint, I will draw eyes all over myself, on my arms, on my legs, on my neck, and on my face. I kind of already did that because I went to a Halloween party last weekend as the time of recording this, and like I still have stains. Like it's stained my arms, so I have like these faint eyeballs on my arms. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I am excited for this costume. I really, really like it. This year, one of my partners, she is actually going to experience Halloween for the very first time. She's going trick-or-treating with friends, and I'm very happy for her. Originally, me and her were going to go out because I wanted to take her out for her first ever, like, trick-or-treating, but, friends ended up inviting her out, like, her friends, and I didn't want to stop her. I told her she could go out with her friends, and, like, I just wanted her to get to experience this holiday at least once, because it is a lot of fun. And so, like, that's what she's gonna go do. I'm gonna be going out with my other partner instead. He's gonna be dressed up as, like, some sort of, I think, military soldier? I'm not sure, I don't remember. He said that he might bring his BB gun, and I'm just like, you don't bring your BB gun or your paintball gun. But yeah, I'm gonna walk around my neighborhood a bit, because I live in an HOA now. So, yeah, if you know what an HOA is, you already know. To put it simply, this neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods that you go to for the good candy. So I'm gonna walk around my neighborhood, and then I'm going to get picked up by my partner, and he will, his grandpa will drive us both to another neighborhood. My mom just told me to be back before 10, which is reasonable. And, yeah. Trick-or-treating has always been one of those things where, yeah, I eventually will be technically too old for it. Some people probably say that I'm too old for it now, but hey, 1, I'm not 18 yet. 2, I don't care. I passed for 12, unfortunately. I'm freaking 12th grade. I've heard people say to me that, like, people have actually asked me before how old I am, or be surprised by hearing that I'm actually a senior. And when they ask for my age, I'm just like, I'm freaking 17. How old did you think I am? I've heard 12. I've heard 13, 14, 15, 16. Like, some people actually get it right. But other people look at me and think, oh, this small child must be, like, a middle schooler. But anyway, my point is that I definitely got a couple years ahead of me of trick-or-treating before someone catches on that I am actually older than I look. I'm probably not gonna be able to do it as often as I get older, just because of my chronic pain. It's still been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed these years of trick or treating as much as I've been able to, and I'm hoping that in the following years I'll be able to keep trick or treating, or at the very least, if I start getting told that I am too old for trick or treating or too old for Halloween, I'll take out my little sister so I can as an excuse. I probably would still do it anyway, but I will take out my little sister with me. So I'm just I'm taking her trick or treating. I'm just coming along. um, but anyway, yeah. Speaking of costumes, my alarm's going off. That's rude. Um, okay, anyway, back to what I was saying. Uh, Speaking of costumes, crap. I forgot. Oh, I remember now. My sister has told me before, seeing the way that I make my costumes, and also just the designs I make for, I don't know, characters, while I'm drawing characters and just clothing designs. She says I should be a fashion designer. And yeah, that sounds good, but also no, because the fashion world scares me. People who work in fashion scare me because they can be mean, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to. They're scary. Um, so yeah, I like designing clothes. I do, but I don't know if I'd ever actually go into any sort of business with it. Maybe I would if anyone was really interested in that, but who knows? Who knows where life will take me. Uh, has anyone else noticed that, like, fall, or, not fall, Halloween seems to be skipped over, at least here in America, earlier and earlier every year? In freaking, I think August or September, I saw Christmas decorations in Hobby Lobby, and I'm like, no, let the spooky month have its time. Why are you guys doing this? Why? I know stores, they have to stock up early, but still, why? Why are you leaving it out in the front? Okay, technically it's not the front, it's kind of pushed into the back, but still it's very visible. And it annoys me. Um, and I don't like it. But oh well, I guess. You can still combine spookiness and Christmas. The Night Before Christmas is clear proof of that. But I still don't like it. Halloween gets up maybe at best, maybe gets 2 months. Christmas practically gets 4 or 3. Let the spooky day have its time. Just a little bit, please. I'm tired of seeing Christmas stuff right after Halloween. My mom is a Christmas fanatic. She loves Christmas. So she is ready to break out the Christmas decorations at least by November 4th. Hopefully she won't do that this year. I shouldn't keep my hopes up though. She probably will. Speaking of Before Christmas, I loved certain Halloween movies or around this time of year. Even when I was little, I loved seeing the just traditional Halloween movies. I'm not talking about slasher films. I'm not a big fan of horror movies that much, really. But I'm talking about the Halloween specials of TV shows. I'm talking about the iconic films: Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, Paranorman. What else is there? There's more. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, the SpongeBob Halloween specials. Does anyone else remember Spooktober or something like that? It was on Disney Channel. Does anyone even remember Disney Channel? Because practically everyone has streaming services now. But freaking Disney Channel used to do this thing every single year, around the Halloween season, where they were airing a bunch of Halloween specials, and they Halloween movies, Halloween specials. You get the gist. And they had their whole the whole channel was based in just spookiness and Halloween. They had a name for it. I don't Halloween Weekend. I think that's it. I think that was the name. Someone fact check this for me, please. I remember this so clearly, but I just loved it. Excuse me. Oh jeez. Anyway, I loved I love that like channel. I loved whenever they did that. It was so much fun. And on Nickelodeon too. Like they would air Hocus Pocus. I still remember sitting at my grandma's house and on Halloween Day watching Hocus Pocus before we'd go out trick or treating. It was just a lot of fun. Why is it just me or does it feel like there's no Halloween themed like specials anymore? Like it feels like it's not really a thing anymore. Like I don't know. Am I like, crazy? Like do shows still do this? Like do they still have Halloween specials? Because like I loved those I love those episodes of shows where they had a whole special around Halloween or some specific holiday. I might check on this. Maybe they do. But anyway, back to other Halloween movies. One of my favorite Halloween, not exactly Halloween, but I guess you could say more creepy film to watch when I was younger. I loved Coraline. I loved it. Pretty sure almost everyone loved Coraline, unless you were really creeped out by it. In that case, you're missing out. I'm kidding. But I really liked that movie. It's like I really can appreciate the claymation now, like stop motion animation. At the time, I didn't understand that's what that form of animation was, but I did remember. I thought the movie was so aesthetically pleasing. I love seeing the textures in the characters when they moved and like in the textures inside of clothing in the environment. I thought it was so cool. And the story was just chef's kiss. Amazing. I loved how they put in some they snuck in a few I guess you could say pagan or Wiccan references here and there, like the green triangle that Coraline gets from the Mrs. Sphinx, or what are the names? The two women who lived in the bottom of the Pink Palace. That was a hagstone. If you don't know what a hagstone is, it's basically a rock that has a naturally formed hole that's been weathered by it's water or erosion or whatever the case may be, but it has to be naturally formed. It cannot be man-made, and that it can be used as a source of protection. And it is said that if you look through the hole of a hagstone, you can see the Fae folk into the land of the Fae. I personally have a hagstone. I found it at a beach when I was maybe 11, maybe. I didn't realize that's what it was at the time, but I realized it later on when I was 13 that I had a hagstone, and now I have it tied with a small miniature rope, and it hangs above my bed, because if you hang a hagstone over your bed, it can protect you from nightmares. It's believed that if a hagstone breaks, it was used to protect you. But yeah, there's that. There's also a reference to fairy rings in Coraline. That is the building blocks for a lot of theories behind Coraline. If you don't know what a fairy ring is, whenever Coraline steps onto the well and there's those mushrooms in a circle around it, that is a fairy ring. Fairy rings, if you stand in a fairy ring, it is believed that you will be transported into the land of the Fae. Unrelated, but I actually am planning to use fairy rings as a plot device in my book. I want to use it as a form of transportation in the book. I'll explain more another day probably, but I'll leave you with that. But yeah, it's hold on, you're gonna sneeze. Other movies that I loved even when I was younger, and I love now, especially for the spooky season, is Corpse Bride. Corpse Bride is so amazing and beautiful, and I love it, and I want them to make movies like this again, but, at least I haven't heard of any really good movies like that being made anymore. Like the song like what's it called again? That one song, "The Remains of the Day," I think. I love it so much. It's jazzy, it goes by really fast, it's swingy. It's just a fun song. It gives some backstory on Emily. It's all around it's good. It's a good plot device and it's a good song. I really liked again, it's claymation. It's stop motion animation. What's not to love about it? Every single frame was meticulously made by someone posing the characters so carefully. Dang it, my alarm's going off again. I need to just put it off. Anyway. But yeah, it's funny because my alarm's going off because technically around this time is when I'd be going to bed, but because of the recording issues I mentioned way in the beginning, I decided, okay, I guess I'm gonna be recording this now. When it's as of recording right now, it's 10:40 at night. I have school in the morning, but oh well. I wanted to still get an episode out for Halloween. Anyway, back to what I was saying before. Halloween specials. I love them. They are amazing. They are really cool. They can show like just real creativity with the show. Some people go with the obvious trope of trick-or-treating, but then like other shows like to get a little creative with it. It just depends on the show. I like Halloween has its roots in paganism, if you didn't know that. It comes from the holiday All Hallows Eve. I don't have an exact script with me right now, so I can't recall every single little detail, but basically All Hallows Eve is the one night of the year where spirits of the dead can return to Earth. Another holiday that makes me think of is Dia de tus Muertos, or aka Day of the Dead. Some of you probably already know what that is, but if you don't, it's a Mexican holiday where, once again, spirits of the dead return to Earth to see their family. Me and my sister want to celebrate the Day of the Dead this year, but anyway, without getting too deep into that, Halloween. So, All Hallows Eve has its roots in paganism. And it's really interesting to see how it has morphed and changed over the centuries into this holiday where we dress up as just different things. I don't know. We dress up as different things. We eat candy. Some people have parties. Whatever it is. You decide how you decide to celebrate that holiday. And yeah. It makes me think of just how let me just cut that part out. My brain is kind of shutting off right now because it's getting a little bit late and I'm kind of tired. But I still want to get this recording done because this is an episode I've actually been looking really forward to. But I guess I'll skip over to two of the last points that I have on my small list to have with me on my bed. I hope this audio quality is still good. I'm not in my closet. If this audio quality is still good, I'm probably not going to be recording in my closet anymore. Who knows? This is the only way I was able to get myself to record. Anyway, moving on. Some of my goofy Halloween memories that I still hold near and dear to my heart are, this one time in 2023, Halloween 2023, because I couldn't run at the time, due to me having surgery on my knee, my friend who was walking with me, he, when I needed to cross the street, because I was still afraid of crossing the street at the time, more so I'm anxious about it now, but I just am able to do it calmly. I couldn't run across the street. That was my usual tactic now at the time before the second surgery. So what he did instead, he would just pick me up. Dude is like 6'3", way taller than me. I'm like 5'3" at best. So he just picked me up and carried me across the street, which I appreciated, but it's funny for me to think about it now. He was my unofficial bodyguard that Halloween because I had done a little bit of trick or treating at the trunk or treat my mom's job was hosting. That like here in my town, in this town that I live in, they host a trunk or treat where the courthouse, the fire department, the police department, and the what is it, the medical department? I don't know. They get together, but they get together by the courthouse, and they have a bunch of if you don't know what a trunk or treat is, they just have it's giving out candy from your trunks. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, he had come with me that Halloween, and my mom originally was not gonna let me leave the trunk or treat, but because my friend was with me, she pretty much let me, because she trusts that he would, pretty much keep me safe, and he considered himself my unofficial bodyguard, too, so it worked out. Um, dang it. I really love Halloween. If that wasn't clear already, it is one of my favorite holidays, not just because of the candy. Candy used to be my main reason for loving it when I was little, but as I get older, one of the reasons why is just I just like community. It has built such a creative and amazing community that, the one night of the year where people come together and we just all agree it's fun to create these amazing costumes and to, just give out candy and all that good stuff. I love it. It's just it's a real sense of community, I guess. That's the only way I can really put it. And, everyone is just in agreement that this holiday is fun, that this holiday is really cool, except for a couple of those people who think this is Halloween is the devil's holiday, which believe whatever you want, but the holiday is rooted in paganism, which is not satanic, is not even closely related to being demonic or anything like that. But anyway, I'm not getting into that right now. It's funny because there's certain etiquette when it comes to trick or treating. For example, if you leave a bowl out while instead of being there to pass out candy, expect that people will take more than one. Do not expect that people are only gonna take two or take some crap like that. That people are taking more than one, they absolutely will, and you cannot stop anybody from doing that if you are not present to keep people from doing that. Um, my Thea actually, in 2023, on that Halloween, I got back to her house because we had gone to her neighborhood for trick-or-treating, and I come to find out that her bowl had been snatched from the driveway. She did not sit out there with the bowl, she had just left the candy bowl out there, and then someone just took it. They just took the bowl and all the candy in it. My mom, later on that night, she found the bowl down the street. And I have no words. I'm not gonna say that people absolutely wouldn't do that because it makes sense. It was probably some kids, if I'm being honest. What I mean by etiquette with Halloween. So, another example, if there are no decorations on the porch and the lights are off, do not expect for that house to be giving out candy. Just move on to the next house, because that house, they are not giving out candy, so don't even try it. On one of the Halloween years, when I would pass by a house that, was off, and they had decorations, but the porch light wasn't on, I would tell other people showing up, just saying, "Hey, this house isn't giving out candy. Just go on to the next house. No one's here." Coming from that, I love the creative ways people decorate their houses. My mom wanted to do something creative this year, and we kind of did, but not really. My mom and all of us were kind of just busy, so we didn't get to really do something super big, but we hung up some spider webs and some spiders and made jack-o'-lanterns, and it was good enough, like, at least just for something small. Speaking of jack-o'-lanterns, you guys want to hear the, like, kind of the origin of the jack-o'-lantern? Of course you do. You don't have a choice. um, like, once again, I don't have this written down, so take what I say with a grain of salt, and you can look into it yourself if you really want to. But the story of the jack-o'-lantern comes from this guy, this urban legend of a guy named Jack. No, go figure. He was rejected by both heaven and hell. Like, he was such a trickster, so mischievous and chaotic. He was neither good nor bad, just purely chaos. And both heaven and hell had kicked him out. Instead of being in either realms, what his fate was decided was to wander the earth forever. And he was given a gourd with a endlessly burning fire inside of it to light his way. It's a really interesting story, and I just love the little urban legends that come from other cultures. And you can look more into that as well, so you can learn more about it, because it is a fun story to read about. In Ireland, I think it's Ireland, don't quote me on this, where I think All Hallows Eve kind of started, they used turnips instead of pumpkins for carving. The pumpkins were originally used to scare off spirits, but now we've kind of gone away from the point of that. I just remembered a small tradition that I do on Halloween every year, other than watching Halloween movies. My little tradition for Halloween is that after I get my candy, if I usually go out with other people, so what we do, we pour out all our candy into separate areas, pour all our candy into separate piles, we sort through it between the stuff that we do want and the stuff that we don't want. And so, or at least the stuff we're willing to trade, and we will trade each other our candy so that everyone gets what they want in the end. It's a win-win for everybody. As of now, it is 10:53, and I think I'm gonna stop the recording now because I already have enough editing to do, because this, as of recording right now, this audio is 44 minutes long, and I'm not looking forward to editing all this. Not really, at least not right now. Maybe I'll try to save it so that in the morning, I'll be able to do the editing. I want this to be posted on Halloween, so if it's not, be sure to berate me in the comments for it. I hope you guys are staying safe on this Halloween night. Do not go out alone. Just be sure to be with somebody, because people are insane, and it's a lot easier, to stay safe whenever you are with a friend or with family. Make sure to double, triple check your candy, because someone might, it might have been tampered with. If it's been tampered with, make sure to throw that crap away. Hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Stay safe on your journey, and I hope it's a good one.